Hi guys, so back in 2016, before the Brexit referendum, the DUP in Northern Ireland and Brexiteers pushed the idea that Northern Ireland contributes more to the European Union than it actually receives. This was fact-checked by FactCheck Northern Ireland, and I'll just read this statement. It says here, a 2016 fact-check by FactCheck Northern Ireland explored the claim that Northern Ireland was a net contributor to the EU. We concluded this claim is false, as we estimate that Northern Ireland is a net recipient of £74 million in the 2014-2015 fiscal year. Others have claimed that Northern Ireland is the recipient of 58 million, but this fails to take into account the requirement for matching funding under the Peace programme and the exact value of farm subsidies. So, and then it gives some more details here. So this was an argument made by the DUP, which you're going to hear in a moment. But I want to talk about a bigger problem. The DUP campaigned for Brexit. The DUP voted for Brexit. And the DUP still believe that Brexit is the best thing for Northern Ireland, even though it's affecting farmers. So you're going to hear some of the promises that were made before the referendum, and then you're going to hear from another DUP in a moment, DUP MP, complaining about the consequences of Brexit.
Well, this is a really important campaign. This is probably the only opportunity we will ever have to really change the direction and destiny of our nation. And I think, therefore, we should seize it with both hands. It's a very, very positive campaign. Obviously, my constituency, very rural. The farmers of Northern Ireland benefit greatly if we pull out of the European community. And I think the sooner we do that, the better. So the farming community would benefit. Remember this. Ian Paisley Jr. saying that the farming community would benefit from leaving the European Union. Those subsidies are effectively is our money paid to European bureaucrats. We give some of it back. We want all of it back. And I think the sooner we get there, the better.
But the subsidies, you don't pay the subsidies and then get the subsidies back. Money goes there and it comes back in the form of a subsidy. Now, has the British government promised that they would replace the lost subsidies from the European? Yes, they have promised to do that, or they have made statements about it. Are they actually going to do that? Probably not.
Well, I think that an exit from the EU would be very much to the benefit of Northern Ireland and indeed to the rest of the United Kingdom. We would be free from the dictatorship and the bureaucracy of Europe. We would have the opportunity to make our own.
How these people are able to, show their face in public, I don't know. That, the bureaucracy of Europe. Look at the state that Northern Ireland is in because of these people. These people wanted Brexit. These people campaigned for Brexit. You saw them earlier handing out leaflets. The restrictions now on goods moving from Great Britain to Northern Ireland are the consequence of Brexit.
Decisions about the best future for Northern Ireland and the United Kingdom.
It'll benefit people in Northern Ireland in a lot of ways. First of all, the laws which affect them will no longer be decided by people who are unelected, unaccountable.
This is just hilarious. David Frost, Lord Frost, was unelected. He's deciding for the people of Northern Ireland at the moment. He's in charge. He's in charge of the Northern Ireland Protocol on the British side. He's making sure that it's implemented or not implemented. He was unelected. The people of Northern Ireland have no control over David Frost.
And who really are passing laws which are not suitable in many cases to Northern Ireland because they're designed for a fit-all position for right across the European Union. Secondly, of course, we will benefit from the fact that instead of giving £10 billion a year to the European Union, which never comes back to Northern Ireland, we will have that money.
Of course, which was a lie. But once again, here we have a member of the DUP making falsehoods in the past. He hasn't come back and said, look, actually, I was wrong. No. He's continually pushing the idea that Brexit was a good idea. That if there are any consequences of Brexit, it's not his fault. It's not the British government's fault. It's the European Union's fault. Even though the European Union were telling people back in 2016 you receive more from the European Union than you pay in. Northern Ireland is a particular case. Northern Ireland has been at the receiving end of huge amounts of money since the peace process began. But people like this have no shame. They made mistakes and they continually show their face in public. I really don't understand how that's possible.
Available for public services in Northern Ireland, including supporting farmers, building hospitals, supporting schools and supporting those who need homes.
What about business people who are worried that they might have strong business links with their...
So I don't know if you heard the question was, what about business people?
Well, of course, those business links with Europe are as beneficial to the rest of Europe as they are to us. Indeed, they're more beneficial. So, there's no way in which the European Union is going to start putting up trade barriers against businesses which operate in Northern Ireland.
There's no way. This is basically a copy and paste of the Digby Jones argument, I think it was, that the German car industry would force Angela Merkel to put pressure on the European Union to make sure that there were no trade barriers.
They'd be cutting off their nose to spite their face.
And then we have the DUP position today.
My constituency produce first-class beef to the highest standards, environmentally and in terms of animal welfare, at considerable cost to the family farm. Does the Minister think it is fair to pitch these farmers against Australian farmers and their intensively produced imports with lesser standards and greater environmental impact?
So these people campaigned for Brexit back in 2016. They lied to the public about the consequences of Brexit, and now they're complaining that this trade deal, for example, with Australia, is going to damage Northern Ireland farmers. Now, I'd love to speak to these people directly and say, if you could, would you reset Brexit? Would you say, look, Brexit was a mistake, let's go back to the way things were? You have to remember also that the DUP receive a huge amount of support from the farming industry, and the farming industry are not happy at the moment. There's a risk that standards are going to be lowered and they're going to suffer the consequences. The DUP campaigned for Brexit. The DUP lied about Brexit. The DUP didn't understand Brexit, it seems. And they're still backing Brexit. I've yet to hear a member of the DUP say, Brexit was a mistake. We made a mistake. Our constituents, our voters, are suffering the consequences of Brexit. Their response is either the problem is the protocol or the problem is this trade deal. It's Boris Johnson should have gotten a better trade deal. But the UK is in a worse position now because of Brexit. It's a more diminished state. And it's desperate. The people that you put in charge, in a sense, the people who are in charge are incompetent. The people in charge are desperate to get a trade deal as quickly as possible because it's good PR. They don't care about the consequences. Does this lady actually think that Boris Johnson or Lord Frost or any of these people give a crap about Northern Ireland? I've been saying it for years. They don't give a crap about the people of Northern Ireland. They never have. They never will. When I talk about the Tories. The Unionists and Northern Ireland were a useful tool. Now it's been thrown in the bin. And until these people realise this, things are going to stay as they are. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?